Monday Night Football is on Westwood 1.
He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown.
Tonight, it's the Buffalo Bills.
Shotgun snap, they rush for, moving up. Allen cocks his arm, throws long on the run, wide open, falling down, catch, goal line, digs, touchdown! Touchdown! What a throw by Allen!
And the Cincinnati Bengals.
Burrow from the gun, timing route, looking down that left sideline, and it is T. Higgins with the catch! Down the sideline and into the end zone! Touchdown! 58 yards!
Let's head to the stadium and join Hall of Famer Kurt Warner and the voice of Monday Night Football, Kevin Harlan.
Welcome, everyone, to Cincinnati, closing out Week 17 in the National Football League as the AFC North-leading Cincinnati Bengals host the AFC East champion Buffalo Bills. Tonight's broadcast of Monday Night Football on Westwood 1, sponsored by AutoZone, Culligan Water, by CDW, by Navy Federal Credit Union, Barbasol Shaving Cream, and by NFL.com.
What's up, everybody? George Reister here. As the sports night wraps up, tune in to Nightcap weeknights from 12 to 3 a.m. Eastern. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Find out what channel your team is playing on by going to SiriusXM.com/sports.
And a pleasant good evening wherever you may be. Kevin Harlan alongside Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner. At halftime from the NFL Network, Rich Eisen will host. And that will be halfway through what we think is going to be one of the most intriguing games in the NFL this season. A matchup all over the field. Two of the top three AFC teams, maybe two of the top teams in the entire football league's season here with Cincinnati and the Buffalo Bills. Kurt, good to see you. Let's start with the quarterbacks because we got two of the best in the business slinging it all over the field here tonight.
Well, I am hoping. I've called 3 games in the last 2 weeks, and I've got a total of 5 touchdowns in those 3 games. So I'm expecting to get at least 5 tonight between these two. But, you know, as a fan of the quarterback position, I love watching these two guys play. And the fun thing is that they play the game completely differently. You have Joe Burrow, who plays the game as a timing game. He's going to see it. He's going to get back, he's going to hitch it, and he's going to get the ball out. He's not back there wasting time. He's not trying to make that big play where he runs around and does something special. And then on the other side, you have Josh Allen, who can play on time, but he's really, really special when he starts to ad-lib and he starts to run around and use that big arm and use those legs to buy time, especially down in the red zone. So if you're a fan of the quarterback position, you're a fan of this game tonight, no matter which way you like to see it, you're going to see both of these guys make play after play after play.
They have never faced each other. Allen for the Bills and Burrow for the Bengals. Tonight's weather report sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. It's 58 degrees, cloudy skies, a chance of rain late in the game. But listen, the average high January 2nd in Cincinnati, about 40 degrees. If Buffalo wins, they've got a very good chance to be the number 1 seed. Kansas City right now, with their win yesterday over the Denver Broncos, is technically ahead with their 13th win. The Bills have a lot to play for.
Well, both teams do, and that's the beautiful part of this matchup. You get to this point in the season, and everybody's starting to, see where they fit, and do they need to play their guys? Well, this is important for both. Both teams could still possibly get the number 1 seed. Obviously, the Bills have won their division, but Cincinnati still could fall to number 2 in their division if they don't win these next couple games. So there's so much riding on this game tonight, and that's what makes it so much fun. No 2 teams are hotter than these 2 teams in the National Football League. No 2 quarterbacks are hotter, and I can't wait to get this thing started.
Bills have won 6 in a row. Bengals have won 7 in a row. If Cincinnati wins tonight, it'll be their 2nd consecutive division title. Burrow, since he has come back in the 0-2 start, remember he had the appendectomy in training camp. He was really sick and he missed some time, did not have much of a camp at all. Since he's come back, he is making a very strong case now for the MVP.
He is, and you think back to the first game of the year, coming off of that appendectomy and had 5 turnovers in that game against Pittsburgh and, all those things to start the season, and he has just flipped the switch and has been so good down the stretch. And it's going to be fun that both of these quarterbacks are in the mix for the MVP, and tonight's game could go a long way in determining if one of those guys wins it.
And both the Bills and Bengals have beaten Kansas City this season, so that's why this game and beyond next week in the Week 18 finale for each will be so huge. Much more to come as we approach kickoff between Buffalo and Cincinnati. When we come back, Rich Eisen, though, is going to join us from our Progressive Insurance Studios. Looking for a career path with flexibility, great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Bundle today at progressive.com. From Cincinnati, this is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
Team Coco Radio.
Radio legend Conan O'Brien here. I've often been told that I have a face for radio. Well, guess what? SiriusXM thought so too. Tune in to Team Coco Radio, Channel 106. Everything that you kind of liked about what I did on television, on radio. Conan O'Brien on Channel 106. Check it out. Team Coco Radio 106.
2023 is your year, so tap into the sound of a fresh start and tackle all your resolutions with motivating music from Lizzo, Dolly Parton, Queen, and more. The ultimate New Year fresh start music mix. Jump in now, only on the SXM app, included in all trials and popular plans.
Living legends, astonishing artifacts, untold stories. Welcome to Football Heaven. I'm your host, Aditi Kinkabwala. Join me, Joe Horrigan, and John Kendall of the Pro Football Hall of Fame on an exploratory tour through the most fascinating stories and personalities in football history. With the help of Hall of Fame guests, we'll bring to life the treasures immortalized inside these hallowed halls. Watch on Football Heaven social media and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes music is the motivation. So fuel your 2023 shape-up with specially designed app-exclusive workout channels from SiriusXM's Hip Hop Nation,
Throw a lot of money on clothes,
BPM, Y2K, and more. With more than 10 to choose from, the music that moves you is just a tap away. For a limited time on Channel 104 starting Wednesday. Or listen to them anytime and anywhere on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Welcome to the Monday Night Football pregame show on Westwood One. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. The low-carb bacon crunch you've been craving. Find your rind in the snack aisle or at southernrecipe.com. Once again, here's your host, Rich Eisen.
Can confirm this is Rich Eisen, as a matter of fact, hosting tonight's Monday Night Football pregame show and halftime proceedings for this huge Week 17 contest in Cincinnati. The Bengals have been on fire, the Bills have been on fire, and the Bengals can clinch the AFC North with a win tonight against Buffalo and keep their hopes alive for the 1 seed. If they lose tonight, they can still clinch the AFC North next week against the Ravens, or lose it against the Ravens, and then they'll also be out of the running for the 1 seed. So a lot is on the line in the jungle for the home team tonight. And I talked about a lot of that with Jamar Chase, who's in his second season in the NFL. Already, however, he has established himself as one of the best wideouts in the league, named to his second consecutive Pro Bowl already. And when I talked to the former LSU Tiger, I asked him what it means to have earned that type of recognition so early in his professional career.
High expectations, I can tell you that off bat. Just high expectations, and, being the person that they drafted me and want me to be is, who I have to be every day. And, I have to lead by example, not always by, mouth, just be a better person, period.
Well, I'm going to hit the Wayback Machine on you, if you don't mind, because you and I, this is the first time I've ever chatted with you. But when you were sitting there getting ready to be drafted and you heard the debate, certainly in Cincinnati,
or nationally about whether to get somebody to protect Joe Burrow or catch a pass from Joe Burrow. What was your thought process? I'm sure you heard that conversation while you were getting ready, Jamar.
It wasn't really too much of a thought process, because, I know Joe, and if Joe wants a threat, he's going to want a threat, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't too hard of a decision or for me to think about who they're going to get, especially when I knew, they had a good pick. And, just me being back with Joe, I already knew that was going to be like so crazy, so I didn't know it was going to happen until maybe a month before the draft.
So a month before the draft, you got a sense, or you just knew Joe was saying, we're going to come get you?
He told me, and I kind of knew at that point, so it was already in the air, you could feel it low key too. So
it's kind of crazy, but it is also, if you think about it, Jamar, kind of nuts that, this kid from Athens and you from Louisiana together for as long as you've been. I mean, what clicks between the two of you? What do you think works so well between you and Joe Burrow, Jamar?
I really think it's just the chemistry we have and just talking it out, you know what I'm saying? And what I like best about Joe is he lets me tell him what I like. And then, we go off of what he think I should do or how I should do it. But he lets me tell him what I'm seeing first, and then we adjust off of it.
I'll ask you this question. I kind of know the answer, but I ask it frequently of people who are as good as you at the position you play. Are you the best receiver in the game, Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I believe so. You know what I'm saying? It's all debatable. You know what I'm saying? I missed 4 games, and I had 600 yards in 5 games. Almost 1,000 yards, and I missed 4 games. So, my numbers were speaking for itself when I first started off the year. Once I got injured, things were settled back for me. And, my numbers will speak for itself. I do a fantastic job of work.
In my world, the paparazzi, the media world, so much attention placed earlier in the season between Mahomes and Allen and the Chiefs and the Bills. And you guys obviously started out 0-2, and that might be another reason why we were so zoomed in on those two teams. Mm-hmm. Do you feel overlooked? Do you feel your team is overlooked despite getting to the Super Bowl last year, Jamar?
I don't really think so. I 100% know every team know what we're capable of, offense and defense wise. So it's not a surprise on what people are saying about us. It's okay to be the underdog, that makes us more hungry, and we know this is not going to be easy to get back again. So, what I'm saying? We got to play with that chip on our shoulder and just keep fighting, man.
Well, that said, you could be the 1 seed a week plus from now and then have everybody come through the jungle. What do you think that would mean, Jamar?
I mean, that's the biggest goal, win this next game. But it's 1 game at a time. So win this next game and then we move on from there. So that's our biggest task at the moment.
All right, Jamar. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And if the Bengals win tonight, they will go into Week 18 with a shot at the 1 seed, as I was just talking about with Jamar. In order to do that, they'll have to hope that the Raiders beat the Chiefs in the first game of Week 18 on Saturday, and then take care of business against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. That happens, the Bengals are the 1 seed. But, of course, first, they have to get past the Bills tonight on Monday Night Football. And up next, we'll speak with one of the best players in the NFL. Bills quarterback Josh Allen joins me. You're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football on Westwood One. I'm Rich Eisen, working our way towards kickoff between the monster game in Cincinnati between the Bills and the Bengals. Time now to hear from Bills quarterback Josh Allen, who joined us as a guest on the Mercedes-Benz Vans Hotline. Want to do your own thing, be your own boss, or follow your own dreams? Unlock your potential by opening the capable and versatile Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. The number one seed is on the line tonight. If the Bills win, they'll control their destiny next week for the only bye in the AFC in this now 2-year-old playoff format. So I began my conversation with the all-world quarterback by asking him how he approaches this monumental Week 17 game.
Honestly, like, all the games, they feel big to me. They all feel the same. If they're all big, none of them are big. So that's the mindset that we have. It's the next one in our progression. We understand the implications that come along with this game. But our main focus is to make this a one-game season and do whatever we need to do to try to win a football game.
So what is your relationship with Burrow like? Have you been around him enough to have one at all?
Yeah. We've shared a lot of conversations in the past, and obviously he trained with Jordan Palmer. I was out there quite a bit and getting to know him there, spend some time with him off the field a little bit as well. The dude is all football. Like, he's 1,000% bought in, and it's so cool to watch how he's kind of progressed. And he really is. He's a great dude. His story's fantastic. Going to Ohio State, grew up in Ohio, didn't really work out there. Going to LSU, and then that second year in LSU maybe had the greatest college season of all time. And it's really cool. Like, that's like, they make movies out of that stuff, So I respect him so freaking much on and off the field. He's a great dude. He's a great football player. He seems like he's a leader of men. His teammates respect him, and that's really all there is to say about him.
You mentioned about great stories. Obviously, you've got one of your own, Josh. And I've been around this game a while. And when I first started doing NFL Network, and for the first 15 years of NFL Network, pretty much the AFC quarterbacks that had a shot to make the Super Bowl or made it or went far into the playoffs were Brady, Peyton, and Big Ben. Like, that was just like a cycle for a long time of three quarterbacks. And right now we're looking at you and Burrow, obviously, and Mahomes is another. Does that strike you at any moment in time? Go, wow, like I'm part of this mix now in the NFL. I'm considered, or I've played myself into that position.
I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds really cool. It's surreal to be mentioned in the same breath as those three guys that you mentioned, but I don't really take time to think about that. I'm just trying to be the best quarterback that I can be here for the Bills, and all that stuff again is all, I'd say, media narrative, and that's media driven, and I know the fans love it, but I'm just trying to find a way to continue to get better here and finally close the deal on a Super Bowl. We've been close a couple years, and that's our main goal that we set out each and every year. And every year that we don't win it, it just, it hurts. We're focused on trying to win a Super Bowl. That's what we want to do.
Josh Allen, a few more minutes left here with the Bills quarterback, the Bengals in particular. What have you seen on film? What are you talking about? What keys are you willing to make public here?
Yeah, I think their defensive line, they don't have the sack numbers this year, but they've been extremely disruptive in the pass front. They got two defensive ends that are, very high motor, relentless attackers that they can get to the quarterback. So, making sure we're good with protection, understanding that. I think obviously Logan Wilson, I played with him in Wyoming. He's a heck of a talent. He's flying all over the field, making plays. It's so awesome to see him doing that. And I think their safety tandem is one of the better in the league. I think, Bates, especially, just recognizing routes when they're in their post high. And he gets a little low sometimes, but he's understanding what the concepts of the opposing team is running, and he's just trying to make a play. And he's a heck of a player. He's a ball hawk. He's smart. He's savvy. And he's been a good long player in this league for a long time, and he continues to make plays. So, other than that, again, they're just high energy. They're playing great football right now. I think they're on a 6-game win streak, so we're gonna have our hands full.
I appreciate you coming on the show, brother. Have a great Monday night, and we'll chat down the line.
Sounds good, Rich.
And we'll clear up all the number one seed scenarios in the AFC next. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
Sirius XM FC celebrates the life and legacy of a soccer icon, the legendary Pele.
God in football boots, nothing less. And he was astonishing in his manner, in his persona. On the football field, he took on a fourth dimension, the likes of which we've never ever seen.
Celebrate the life and legacy of Pele on Sirius XM FC 157.
This is Bruce Murray. Join me along with Kirk Morrison on the Sirius XM Blitz tomorrow, noon Eastern Time, as we recap Monday Night Football between Josh Allen and the Bills and Joe Burrow and the Bengals, with the number 1 seed still up for grabs in the AFC. We continue to recap the rest of Week 17 and discuss all of the playoff implications around the league as we gear up for the final week of the regular season. Catch the Sirius XM Blitz tomorrow, noon Eastern Time, on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SXM app, included with all of our trials and popular plans.
TJ Watt sacks him.
Taking you inside the locker room on NFL Rewind.
What is it about when you're in the lineup that inspires the Steelers, especially your side of the ball?
I just try to bring as much energy and as much juice and splash as I possibly can to this defense and to this team, because I am living the absolute dream, man. We're definitely happy to still be playing a meaningful game next week, but all of that means nothing if we don't win.
NFL Rewind. Following Sunday Night Football until 2 a.m. Eastern. NFL Radio, Channel 88.
There's only one place on SiriusXM to get your fix of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and that's ACC Today.
We're here on the ACC channel, folks. Get on our level.
Weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. Join Chris Patola and crew, including Torrey Holt.
I hope they are just as fired up about this year as I am.
And Roddy Jones.
I'm a little disappointed we're not playing college ball right now.
As they tackle the ACC like no one else.
We are just flying off the handle with tape.
It's only on SiriusXM ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the SXM app.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football on Westwood 1. I'm Rich Eisen. If the Bills win tonight, it will keep the AFC North an open question for the Bengals entering next week and eliminate the Bengals from the 1-seed race. The Bills would hold the advantage over the Chiefs going into the final week as a win-and-in scenario for Buffalo. But if the Bengals win, they wrap up the AFC North. They have a chance at the 1 seed, and the Chiefs have the win-and-in scenario for the 1 seed going into Week 18. This has been the Monday Night Football pregame show on Westwood 1.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Sponsored by Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. 0 carbs, high protein. Find your rind in the snack aisle or at southernrecipe.com. I'm back at halftime. Ian Rappaport from NFL Network joins me with all the information on Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and more. But up next, we'll head back to Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati and rejoin Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner. What a huge game this is going to be. Enjoy it, everybody. We'll chat at halftime. Bills, Bengals, you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood 1.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Southern Recipe is celebrating Pork Rind Appreciation Day by giving you a chance to win $5,000 and a year's supply of high-protein, low-carb pork rinds in this year's Sacks for Snacks sweepstakes. For a chance to win, enter at southernrecipe.com. That's southernrecipe.com. No purchase necessary. See official rules at southernrecipe.com.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Visit Amazon today for your Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
We're back in Cincinnati, 58 degrees. They're introducing the Bengals right now with fireworks and all kinds of lights. The Bills are on the field. And time now for Kurt Warner to advise us what each team needs to do in order to win. Sponsored by Fidelity Wealth Management. With Fidelity Wealth Management, your dedicated advisor can help you call an audible when your needs change. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. The Bills at 12-3, led by Josh Allen. The Bengals, Kurt Warner, at 11-4, led by Joe Burrow. Take us through this one.
Well, the first thing is both teams are big play offenses. So no matter whether you look at this from an offensive perspective or a defensive perspective, it is going to be about the big plays or limiting the big plays. The two guys you got to keep your eye on is Jamar Chase for the Bengals. He's a guy that no matter where he touches the football, he can take it to the house. And on the other side, we've got Stephon Diggs. That's the main man for Josh Allen. You've got to limit him if you're the Bengals defense. I'm going to talk about the QB's legs. Now, we all know about Josh Allen's legs and what he's able to do with the design quarterback runs and buying extra time and the big body against those little bodies on the back end. But keep an eye on Joe Burrow. He's gotten healthier and healthier from that knee injury he suffered a couple years ago and feels like that is a true asset for this offense. And then when you look at these two defenses, you say when you play great quarterbacks, you have to pressure the quarterback and you have to turn the football over. Those are things that you've got to watch for tonight. Which defense wins in those two categories will go a long way in winning this football game.
We cannot wait. Stay with us. We're working our way toward kickoff. The Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
Busted Open, the authority of pro wrestling, is available as a podcast. Listen to me, Dave LaGreca, and my all-star panel of co-hosts, including Hall of Famers Bully Ray and Mark Henry, to legends like Tommy Dreamer and Mickie James, and the AEW Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa, bring you the best in the pro wrestling world and talk to the biggest names from WWE, AEW, and beyond. Catch Busted Open live Monday through Saturday, 9 to noon Eastern, and the Busted Open podcast wherever podcasts are available.
Hey, I'm Brian Dunseth from SiriusXM FC. Every Monday, join Tom Rainey and me as we go all around the soccer world on our podcast, Week in the Tackle.
Enter our private circle.
From the significant...
There is a lot of reason to think they're going to win this tournament.
...to the absurd.
This little car comes on, like...
We cover the soccer stories we find interesting on Week in the Tackle. Available for free on Stitcher or your favorite podcast platform.
NFL fans, right now on the SXM app, hear in-depth coverage of your team with the Believe Podcast Network on SiriusXM. It's all the analysis, all the breakdowns that matter to you, hosted by the players who played for your team and the fans who eat, sleep, and breathe it. 32 diehard fan bases, 32 podcasts. The Believe Podcast Network on SiriusXM. BLEAV. Search Believe in, followed by your team on the SXM app, Pandora, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Jim Miller.
And I'm Pat Kerwin.
Be sure to join us tomorrow on Moving the Chains.
We'll be breaking down the Bills and Bengals from Monday night and recapping all of the Week 17 action.
Plus, we'll give you our take on the playoff picture for both conferences and start to peek ahead to Week 18.
And whether you want to brag or you want to vent, we always look forward to your calls.
That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on Moving the Chains, SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
And on the SXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football on Westwood One. It's time for another memorable moment in football history, sponsored by NetSuite by Oracle.
McCaffrey flanked out wide to the left as well as Carswell. 1st and 10 Broncos. Hebron in motion. Back to pass Elway. Throws it out to the left and it's picked off. Merton Hanks has room to run. Inside the 30. Hanks to the 25 to the 20. He'll look at the Broncos in his rear view mirror and goes into the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown. Merton Hanks. 55 yards on the return.
The voice of Howard David with the call on CBS Radio Sports. Merton Hanks, pick six of John Elway 25 years ago in Week 16, broke a 17-all deadlock in the third quarter and catapulted San Francisco to a 34-17 win and the number one seed in the NFC playoffs. Meanwhile, the defeat meant the Broncos wouldn't win the AFC West, and they ended up as a wild card entry in the playoffs instead. But they didn't lose again. They went on to a victory in Super Bowl 32, the first of back-to-back titles for Denver. The other significant aspect of the Broncos-49ers matchup that night, 1997, was that the two teams entered the contest with 23 combined wins, which was the most ever by two opponents in a Monday Night Football game until tonight, in the battle between Buffalo and the Bengals, which equals that mark. The Bills are 12-3. The Bengals are 11-4. That's tonight's memorable moment in football history, sponsored by NetSuite by Oracle, the number one cloud financial system. Head to netsuite.com/touchdown for a one-of-a-kind flexible financing offer. That's netsuite.com/touchdown. The Bills on the field. They've won 6 in a row. The Bengals are hosting tonight. They've won 7 consecutive games. The opening kickoff is coming up. The Bills and the Bengals, and you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
For everything your business needs to make this year your year, Staples has you covered.
I need to organize all my papers and files from last year and the year before that.
Staples has you covered.
I need to clear clutter from my office, and my home office, and my home.
Staples has you covered with everything you need to get organized this year at amazing savings. Right now at Staples, get up to 50% off select file folders, file cabinets, file boxes, and storage bins. Make this year your year at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 1/28 in store only.
Bills and Bengals haven't played each other since 2019. Buffalo, the first team in the AFC to clinch a playoff slot. First in the AFC East right now, and a win, they'll be number one with Kansas City tied at 13-3, but they've beaten the Chiefs, and so they would be the number 1 seed with a week to go. Buffalo, with a win, wins the division, and they've got their sights set very high. We have had the flip of the coin. The Bengals won, and they've chosen Kurt Warner to receive the ball. A lot of times, they'll take the second half. Nope, not tonight. Bengals won it first.
Well, our offense is hot. We want to keep pressure on the Buffalo Bills, so we want to come out here, try to score some points, and make sure that they're feeling it all night long.
Tyler Bass will kick off for the Bills. From right to left, it's end over end. Travion Williams is back. He lets it go over his head out of the end zone, right down the middle, landing about 5 yards deep. And it'll be a touchback to the 25, which sets up the Bengal offense, number 7, with their terrific quarterback going to the Pro Bowl, Joe Burrow.
And I know it's not always, the best strategy, but as a quarterback, I always wanted the ball first anyways. I didn't want to sit over there on the sideline and watch the other guy do anything. Give me the ball first, and let's go score some points.
Running back is Joe Mixon. They're in the shotgun formation. It's a 1st and 10 from the 25 of the Bengals. 3 on the defensive line, now 4 for the Bills. Shotgun snap back. There's a block by Mixon. Long arching spiral pass down the far sideline for Chase. Incomplete with a flag, and they work immediately on Tre'Davious White. The flag thrown at the 46-yard line on the far side of the field in front of the Buffalo bench. That's where the route was run.
Pass interference. Defense, number 27. The ball be placed on spot and foul. Automatic first down.
And there's another reason you like it. The first play of the game is going to be all go. We're going after him early. I tell you what, you're never wrong throwing it to Jamar Chase in a one-on-one go situation. But Tyler Boyd ran right smack down the middle of the field, and there was no safety back there. A walk-in touchdown if he goes to the inside. But we'll still take that big penalty on the first play.
Lining up on the logo from the 46 of Buffalo. In the shotgun formation is Burrow. Empty backfield, 5 wide. Shotgun snap, drops back 3, line drive, throw to the numbers, near side. It's caught by the tight end, Hayden Hurst, chest high at the 42. He then spins, and he comes to the sideline in front of his own bench. Down he goes, and a gain of 4 on first down for Cincinnati.
Well, and these are the 2 things that this Cincinnati offense is built on. The first play, the go routes. You're going to see them when they get one-on-one on the outside with Higgins or Chase. They're going to throw a lot of go routes. And then the other thing is Joe Burrow's going to get back and get the ball out of his hands. We saw that on the last play. Get back, quick hitch, find your guy, and get the ball in their hands.
Bengals in their black jerseys and white pants. 2nd down 6, Buffalo 42, moving left to right. In the shotgun is Burrow, 4-man front. There's the snap, and the handoff. Mixon up the middle over the center of the 40. Cuts outside the hash and close to a first down, the 36-yard line of Buffalo, and a player for the Bills is down immediately after the tackle on the 2nd and 6. It is a gain of a little more than 5 and looks to be a first down, but a player is face down for Buffalo and has not moved after being involved in that play. So the clock is stopped. Less than a minute into the game. We've had a PI, a pass interference against Tre'Davious White, and the player down, and it was Taron Johnson, the defensive back, who was driven into the ground by the tight end on a block, Hayden Hurst, and he is still face down. So there's an injury timeout. Less than a minute in. First possession for Cincinnati. They're on the move. Let's step aside. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
Hey, what's going on? This is your boy Kevin Hart, and guess what? I've got my own channel on Sirius XM, Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, channel 96. We play the best stand-up comedy from some of my favorite comedians, and I got my own show. It's called Straight From The Heart, and I host it with a bunch of unattractive friends of mine. They call the Plastic Cup Boys. Every Tuesday and Thursday, real, raw, authentic conversation. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Laugh Out Loud Radio right here on Sirius XM, channel 96. Don't miss it.
Living legends, astonishing artifacts, untold stories. Welcome to Football Heaven. I'm your host, Aditi Kinkabwala. Join me, Joe Horrigan, and John Kendall of the Pro Football Hall of Fame on an exploratory tour through the most fascinating stories and personalities in football history. With the help of Hall of Fame guests, we'll bring to life the treasures immortalized inside these hallowed halls. Watch on Football Heaven social media and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Start off your morning right with the best coverage of the Conference of Champions on Pac-12 This Morning.
This conference is going to be loaded at quarterback next year. Get the Heisman Trophy winner in the conference. Michael Penix led the FBS in passing. Bo Nix had a fantastic year. I mean, this conference is uniquely positioned next year to be, without a doubt, the best in the Power 5 as far as quarterback play goes.
Don't miss Pac-12 This Morning, weekdays starting at 8 a.m. Pacific on Sirius XM Channel 373 and on the SXM app. After an unpredictable season, the College Football Playoff National Championship is set. Georgia.
5-4-3, 2-1 touchdown. Brock Bowers.
TCU.
Johnston got it. Touchdown TCU.
Meet in Los Angeles to make history. Get prepared with the best analyst in the country leading up to the game on January 9th. ESPNU Radio, Sirius XM 84, and streaming on the SXM app, free to most subscribers.
In the Grainger broadcast booth with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, Kevin Harlan. For the Game Changers, there's Grainger. You'll find supplies and solutions for every industry when you call, click Grainger.com, or stop by one of 250 Grainger branch locations. Saran Neal is now the nickelback, walking off under his own power. Taron Johnson in the secondary for the Bills. 3rd and 1, opening drive, 36. Bengals have it. There's the snap under center. Burrow takes it over his right guard, and he picks up 2, and he's got the first down. Has the first down inside the 35 of Buffalo. Bengals on the move with a 1st and 10, Kurt Warner.
And so many different ways to run the quarterback sneaks. A lot of people are getting up there and pushing their quarterback. That time, Joe Burrow audibled. He brought his running back up to the right-hand side and kind of made it off to the right with his quarterback sneak, get a little lead block from his running back to get the first down.
1st and 10, 35 of Buffalo in the gun. Burrow fakes the handoff. Quick throw down the middle. It's caught in stride by Hurst. Hurdle to the defender at the 20. Flies in the air to the 15-yard line, and down he goes. Tackled running along the hash mark. Caught the ball on the fly over his shoulder at 21-yard. Catch and run as he took to the air. And that's a first down for Cincinnati. Checking the Bengals inside the red zone, sponsored by CDW for cloud mobility, security, and data center solutions. Turn to CDW, people who get it 54 times, 36 touchdowns. It's a 1st and 10 at the 14 of Buffalo on the game-opening drive for the Bengals. In the gun is Burrow, arms extended, drops back after the snap. Left tackle block, winds up, throws in the end zone, in the back, caught, touchdown. Underneath the crossbar, grabbed by Boyd, shoulder high. In the back, in the middle for 6. A 14-yard touchdown pass by Pro Bowl quarterback Joe Burrow. And the Bengals have scored on their first possession.
Well, that's why you take the ball. That's what you say, is we want to put all the pressure on Josh Allen. What a picture-perfect drive right there, and great protection. Usually Tyler Boyd is working the inside. Had him as the outside receiver on Tre'Davious White. Pushes down, runs a big in on the back of the end zone, and a great throw by Joe Burrow.
Evan McPherson will try the extra point. Snap is good. Ball is kicked up. Right-footed boot is good to our right. And a 7-0 lead for Cincinnati. 12-34. It was quick, it was decisive, and it sends a loud and distinct message. Early message sent by the Bengals in this big one in Cincy tonight. 7-0 Cincinnati. Bills have yet to get the ball. Let's step aside. You're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood 1.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. You know, an oil change is a great way to get more MPGs. Right now, you can enter for a daily chance to win a $200 AutoZone gift card when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 Full Synthetic and an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $38.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
No purchase required.
When you bundle your renter's and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Hey, I noticed it's been a few minutes since you thought about when your quarterback ran into his own teammate and fumbled, technically forcing his own fumble, and then the other team took it in for a score, and then you couldn't turn on the TV for a month without being constantly reminded of the time your quarterback sacked himself and fumbled.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hey everybody, Kurt Warner here. Ever since retiring from the NFL, I've wanted to use my knowledge and expertise to impact the future of our game. So I created QBConfidential.com to build better players, smarter coaches, and more informed fans. If you want to increase your football IQ, learn quarterback technique, build a playbook, go inside the film room, or develop the mindset of a champion, QBConfidential.com is perfect for you. That's QBConfidential.com. Join the team today.
7-0 early lead Cincinnati. This season, for the first time, you can hear every Westwood One NFL broadcast streamed live for free. Catch all the action on the NFL app or on WestwoodOneSports.com. Or you can listen via Westwood One station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. It's all sponsored by AutoZone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. That was a decisive drive.
Yeah, it was. Can we ask Alexa to open up Tyler Boyd in the back of the end zone? Does that work too?
He was wide
open. It worked
open.
right there.
Woo.
And
Wow.
as I said, they like to use Tyler Boyd on the inside, but instead they put Jamar Chase on the inside, and he grabs a lot of attention. So as he pushed up through the middle of the field, the inside safety jumped all over Jamar Chase, and that's what opened up Tyler Boyd on the outside. And a great throw by Joe Burrow, but that was just picture perfect, dissecting that Bills defense.
Here's the Cincinnati kickoff, a line drive. McPherson over the head of Nyheim Hines. In the back of the end zone it goes. Touchback to the 25. So for Joe Burrow, his 35th touchdown pass of the season, that is a new team record. And this brings us with the 1st and 10. First time we've seen the offense of the Buffalo Bills, the #2 offense in pro football, led by quarterback Josh Allen.
Well, and you know, coming into this game, both of these quarterbacks, even though they play against the other team's defense, you come into games like this saying, hey, I got to outperform the quarterback on the other side. So first strike goes to Joe Burrow. Let's see what Josh Allen can do.
In the gun, his own Buffalo 25 in all white tonight, moving right to left. Shotgun snap to Allen, 1st and 10. Sets and throws a line drive to the numbers. Caught by Diggs, 30. Breaks a tackle, 35. Far sideline, 40. And he runs into his own bench on the far side. Nice catch and run for Diggs, who has been quiet over the last couple of games. 17-yard catch and run to the 42-yard line of Buffalo, first down.
Well, you go right back and you say, hey, first play for the Bengals, what did they do? They took their one-on-one shot to Jamar Chase. First snap for the Bills. They're going to their main guy, Stephon Diggs, on the little return to the inside. But they are getting it to their go-to guys because they know they're going to be important tonight.
Allen in the gun, his own 42. Trailing 7-0 here early. 1st and 10. Fakes the handoff. Looks right, no. Backpedals and throws another pass to the near sideline. And incomplete. Looking for Isaiah McKenzie, who is covered on the near side by Mike Hilton. Right in front of the Bengal bench below us. Incomplete, Kurt Warner. 2nd down 10 with the Bengals leading on a touchdown pass early, 7-0.
Well, Trey Hendrickson's going to be the guy for this Bengals defense to have to apply pressure, and he did that right there. He didn't get the sack, but he forced Josh Allen to backpedal as he was trying to make that second-level throw, and that's what forced it to go into the dirt.
5 in the secondary for the Cincinnati Bengals. 2nd down and 10 for the Buffalo Bills, moving on this 58-degree night from our right to our left. 42 of Buffalo in the gun. Josh Allen, 2nd down and 10. He gets the snap. He fakes the handoff to McKenzie, runs over the right tackle, breaks the tackle 45, runs to the painted numbers, the 50, and stumbles his way to the 48-yard line of Cincinnati, angling to the far sideline, picked up 9, and setting up a 3rd and 1 for Buffalo.
Well, and that's what makes the Bills offense different from the Bengals. Both great quarterbacks, both can stand in the pocket and throw it, but the design runs by the Buffalo Bills right there. They put Isaiah McKenzie in the backfield, fake the sweep to him. Josh Allen pulls it out, and if he doesn't stumble, that is a huge play.
Under center with 2 tight ends. Just outside the 48-yard line, Allen 3rd and 1. Gets the snap, spins, hands off, and it goes off to Singletary over the guard. He plummets his way for 2. He's got the first down to the 46-yard line of Cincinnati. First down, Buffalo.
And we haven't talked about it a lot over the last couple years because so much has been built around Josh Allen. But this Bills team has been running the football really, really well the last couple weeks. 150 yards a couple weeks ago. They went over 250 yards against the Bears last week. So if they can develop any kind of consistent run game to go with Josh Allen, they're going to be a really, really tough team to stop.
Lining up on the logo at midfield, the Tiger Stripes and a big B for Bengals, 1st and 10. Shotgun snap, 46. There's a whistle blown. They pulled the play dead in mid-motion. Was it a false start? It was a timeout.
It looked like there was movement by the Bills.
Buffalo, 30 seconds.
Did you see anything there that wrong alignment? Because they got the snap and they were running it.
Yeah, I actually thought they moved a little bit early. So
I thought so
I'm
too.
not sure if there was something they were uncomfortable with. They called the timeout.
So probably as intriguing a matchup as we've had all season long with the two quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Joey Burrow, who have come in and done a terrific job. Buffalo, by the way, is plus 157-point differential. And the first quarter is when they have their shortest leads. They're only plus 16 in the first. And then after that, man, watch out because they plow it on second, third, and fourth quarter. The Bills do. All right, they took the timeout, and Allen's going to be under center with the 1st and 10 on their first possession, down 7-0 at the 46-yard line of Cincinnati. Four-man defensive front. There's the snap, the spin, the fake handoff, the drop back. He shuffles up. Now he's going to run. He is hit around the ankles as he was on the hash mark at the 43, lunged ahead to the 41 of Cincinnati, falling forward and on the play, picking up about 5. That'll set up second down. Our clock is approaching 10 to play in the first.
Well, good protection, but better coverage on the back end. They were just trying to get a shot down the field to Stephon Diggs. Two Cincinnati Bengals back there could not shake loose, forcing Josh Allen to tuck it once again.
Second down 5. Allen is in the gun from the 41-yard line of Cincinnati. Blitz is on, 5-man rush, line drive throw. It's caught in stride, 30-yard line on the hash, and grabbed by Diggs for a first down. They see the knee hit at the 32 of Cincinnati on the hash mark. Pickup of 10. Second catch by Diggs on this drive. First down, Buffalo.
Just working his one-on-one on the outside. He is so quick with his releases. Gives the corner a little hesitation. And it's a one-step slant to the inside. Easy first down completion right there.
New running back is the rookie out of Georgia, James Cook. He has been used a lot more the last month. They're at the 32 of Cincinnati on their first drive. In the gun is the quarterback, Allen, who gets it and then hands off to the running back, Cook, who goes over the right guard of the hash down to about the 26-yard line, 25-yard line of Cincinnati. As the clock is just passing 9 to play here in the first. It is a gain of 7, setting up second down and 3. Tune in to watch all the excitement of Week 18 on Sunday on CBS. Check local listings for the games and times in your area. It's the NFL on CBS. Second down 3 for the Bills, trailing 7-0.
And you mentioned Cook getting more involved in the run game, but really brought him in as that guy that can get out of the backfield and be a pass catcher as well. Really dynamic in space, tough to cover in one-on-one situations with the linebacker.
Two tight ends, 25 of Cincinnati. Allen under center, second down 3, gets the snap, hands off to Cook. He goes up the middle, knifing by the 20, down the middle. He goes over the center, past the 15 and down to the Cincinnati 14-yard line. All between the hash marks, right down the middle of the field with a burst right there of 11 and a Buffalo first down as the Bills are in the CDW red zone. Kurt, CDW, people who get it.
Well, and one thing we think oftentimes about this Bills team being a spread team, not a power run team. But 2 times tonight already, we've seen them bring in an extra offensive lineman and say, hey, we're not just going to spread you out, we're going to pound you as well, as they did on that last run.
Cincinnati 14, Allen under center. First down and 10, got the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back 5, sets and throws a short pass near side. Caught by Gilliam, 15 on the sideline, the 10, puts his head down, driving on the near sideline below us, near the 10. And they're going to say he kept his feet in and got to about the 7 or the 8, put the ball down. There you go, 7-yard catch and run to the 7 of Cincinnati.
Well, that's what I like to see from Josh Allen. When you get down here in the red zone, there's been a tendency this year to really try to make every throw, and it's led to a number of turnovers. There they were trying to get the tight end Morris on a wheel route down the sideline. Good coverage. He settled for the check down on the quick flat, picking up 8 yards. That's what he's going to have to do. No mistakes when you get into the red zone.
Bengals 7, under center. It's second down 3. Allen gets it, now rolls and throws a pass away as he was trying to pass, and he was outside the tackle box, or that framing, and throws a short pass incomplete. He knew it was going to have to live for another down. He does. Now 3rd and 3 coming up, and they're stationed at the 7 of Cincinnati.
I'm not really sure what that play was.
I'm not either.
There were no receivers out in a route. It looked like it was a designed run to the running back, but there was quick penetration by the Bengals, and Josh Allen, I think, just pulled it away from the running back, saying, let me see if I can make something happen. There was nothing there, so he threw it right into the ground.
Allen at the 7 of Cincinnati, 3rd and 3 in the shotgun with 4 wide. Arms outstretched, shotgun snap. They rush 5. Cox his right arm, line drive throw, near side off the fingertips of Beasley on the sideline at the 5-yard line. 33-year-old Cole Beasley called off the practice squad today, could not lasso the pass. Line drive to the near sideline. It's incomplete. It's 4th down, and they're going to try a field goal. Buffalo will on their first possession.
I thought Josh Allen just rushed this a little bit. This is a move we've seen a couple players, Cooper Kupp, Hunter Henry, make, where they start to the outside, and it looks like they're going to return back inside. They get the defender going inside. They bounce back to the outside. There was some space there, but Josh Allen rushed the ball a little bit, left it a little high, and Cole Beasley couldn't bring it down.
Tyler Bass and the Bills. Here's the field goal try. The ball's put down. The kick is away and good. A 25-yard field goal. And Buffalo is on the board with a good-looking drive that included passes to Diggs of 17 and 10. And then Cook had an 11-yard run. And they get the 3, not the 7 like they wanted. So it's 7-3 Cincinnati. With a reminder that for every field goal made tonight and throughout the remainder of the season, Barbasol will make a donation to Kurt and Brenda Warner's Treasure House, a living community for adults with disabilities. Barbasol shaving cream, an American original for over 100 years. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol. Touchdown pass by the Bengals on their first possession. Field goal by the Bills at 25 on theirs. 7-3 Cincinnati early in the game. Just under 7 to play in the first as you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Introducing Barbasol 1919 Classic Shaving Cream, paying homage to the original invented over 100 years ago. This new non-aerosol formula features enhanced ingredients, an exceptional glide, and crisp fragrance for a winning shave experience.
Barbasol.
When you open up a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, you're opening up more than just doors. You're unlocking potential. The potential to do your own thing, be your own boss, and steer your own success. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van owners live, work, and play out their dreams, no matter how far off the beaten path it takes them. Because they know there's nothing like taking your own route and reawakening that spirit of adventure that lies within all of us. With 16 body types, your choice of a gas or diesel engine, thousands of ways to customize, and now available in all-wheel drive, a Sprinter van is capable and versatile enough to help drive your ambitions, wherever you want to take them. So go ahead. Now's the time. Unlock your potential inside a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and a great shave starts with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Barbasol.
So both teams on their first possessions tonight have scored. 14-yard touchdown pass to Boyd from Burrow. And on the first possession, Bills were moving, but the defense of Cincinnati held them out and only allowed a field goal, Kurt.
Yeah, they got the score. I was just watching a replay of that last throw by Josh Allen. I saw Trey Hendrickson, as he was trying to rush Josh Allen, almost looked like he flipped his body or gave a little bit of a roll at Josh Allen and caught Josh Allen's left ankle. Came up hobbling a little bit, something to pay attention to.
Here's the kickoff at the 6-yard line as Travion Williams on the numbers, the 10. Gets a block at the 20. Up the middle he goes, the 30. Then he fumbled the ball, and it's picked up on the play by Cam Lewis of Buffalo on the special teams. The Bills have recovered a Cincinnati fumble on a kickoff at the 33-32 of Cincinnati. Let's see where they mark it down. Do they say the player was down already because the offense is going out there for the Bengals? And that must be the call, as Williams must have hit before he fumbled. He did.
After discussion, the returner was down by contact. First down, Cincinnati.
His elbow, and it was right. It was the right call.
It was the ground that caused the fumble. He went up and over. He got contacted by a Bill. Ball was fully in his possession when he hit the turf, and that's when it bounced out.
7-3 the score. Cincinnati's second possession. Beginning at the 32. First down and 10. Lining up in the shotgun, Burrow 3 wide. Looks at a 4-man front, tight end in motion. Burrow gets the snap, hands off Mixon over the guard. The 40-yard line, up just shy of it, about the 39, as he ran over the center and takes his way between the hash marks to the 39 on a burst of 7 on first down by Bengal running back Joe Mixon.
And the Bengals haven't been dominating running the football this year either, but just like we talked about with the Bills, if you can just get some semblance of a run game, nice little pickup right there, man, it changes the dynamic with all those playmakers on the outside.
Cincinnati 39 in the gun. Burrow 3 wide, arms extended, shotgun snap, left tackle block, line drive up the middle. It is caught. On the play, grabbed by Higgins. He goes up the middle past the 45 on the hash, the 50, goes across the logo and down to the 48-yard line of Buffalo. Tackled right there around the ankles on a 13-yard catch and run by T. Higgins, who last week had 128 through the air against the Bears. And a player down now for Cincinnati. The center, Ted Karras, is on a knee, and there's a Buffalo player down where the tackle was made on the terrific wide receiver, T. Higgins, who caught it, shallow cross, ran, and got the first down for Cincinnati. 13-yard catch and run. Man, second Buffalo player down, Kurt.
Yeah, it looked like they might have been radioing to bring out the cart, too. I'm not sure who it is. I can't see a number down there.
They look at him. We're going to step aside with an injury timeout and 5:58 to go in the first quarter. Burrow a touchdown pass, 7-3 Bengals. They've got it again. Let's step aside. You're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Looking for a perfect post-holiday pick-me-up? Well, treat yourself to a $5 pot pie from KFC. For a limited time, pot pies at Kentucky Fried Chicken are now just $5. Each KFC pot pie is made with a delicious mix of tender chicken, savory sauce, perfectly cooked veggies, and topped with a golden flaky crust. It really is the ultimate $5 comfort meal. Only at KFC. That's finger-licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by.
We're back in Cincinnati, and the second player who is down in the secondary for the Bills has been identified as Damar Hamlin. He's the one that made the tackle on the ball carrier after the receiver, Higgins, caught the ball. He ran and he's a big guy to bring down anyway, and they had helmet to helmet, and down went the starting safety, Damar Hamlin, and so now they have brought the stretcher out on the field. He is surrounded by athletic training staff, players for both teams on a knee, as is the coach. The player, Hamlin, actually got up after the hit and then collapsed, and so that is what they're looking at right now. The first player to get injured tonight was Taron Johnson. He was another starter. He is a nickelback, and he is out in concussion protocol. So this could be the second defensive back lost. And with that in mind, and both teams now on a knee as they assist the down player, Damar Hamlin, and just under 6 to play in the first quarter. We're going to take a station identification break here as they now back in the ambulance out onto the field. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. This is Westwood One, your home for Monday Night Football.
This is Dusty Dvorak. Join myself and Danny Cannell for passionate sports talk and lots of laughs. Dog Days with Dusty and Danny, weekdays at noon Eastern only on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
So the ambulance has driven out onto the field, backed its way on to the field as the player is being loaded onto a stretcher. The player, by the way, Hamlin, did get up on his feet, stood there for about a second or two, and then collapsed. And that is what they're working on right now. So they're continuing that on the field with a medical issue and 5:58 to play in the first. The Bengals lead in a touchdown pass by Burrow, 7-3. Let's step aside again as you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
This is it. The putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. With visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying well ahead of your competition. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 32,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite is a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/touchdown. Head to netsuite.com/touchdown for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/touchdown.
Young people with developmental disabilities deserve every chance for a full and active life, but it can be difficult to balance their day-to-day needs with their lifetime of potential. Hi, I'm Kurt Warner. My wife Brenda and I started Treasure House, a community for young adults with developmental disabilities who have the potential to grow and thrive in the right environment. It's designed not just to be a place to live, but to truly be a home. Join us in supporting these young adults by making a contribution today. Visit treasurehouse.org. That's treasurehouse.org.
Southern recipe pork rinds.
Nothing goes better with football than pigskin. So celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day this football season with the bacony crunch of Southern Recipe pork rinds. Get a low-carb, protein-packed pork rind snack that's as tasty out of the bag as it is in your favorite keto-friendly recipe. Find your rind in the snack aisle today or at southernrecipe.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Visit Amazon today for your Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. We have a down, injured Buffalo Bill, Damar Hamlin, who made a tackle, and it was a fierce one. It was a violent one, and then he stood up, and then he collapsed. And from that point on, we have had a stretcher brought out onto the field. Play stopped, obviously. An ambulance has backed out onto the field at midfield with each team surrounding the down player. But the look, Kurt Warner, on the faces of his teammates and their movement is one that says that this is obviously incredibly serious.
Well, we were just talking in the break, and I'd never really seen anything like that where a player gets hit and then bounces up the way that he did, and then all of a sudden just collapsed again. But you're right, the looks on the faces of the Bills players and coaches let you know that it's a really, really scary situation, and our prayers and thoughts go up to him and his family that are probably in the stadium or watching at home, knowing how difficult a situation this is.
You know, the thing about these hits, and sometimes you see a hit and it's so violent the players just jump back up and they go back to their respective huddles. Sometimes it's a slight hit, and for whatever reason the angle is not right, and a player will go down. This one was kind of in between. It was fierce. I mean, it was a helmet-to-helmet, not intentionally, just the way they lined up with the tackle by the defensive back on the running wide receiver for the Bengals, T. Higgins. And like I said, it was fierce. The defensive back stood up for the Bills and then immediately collapsed and fell backwards, landing on his back. And that's when they stopped play and they called the medical people from the Buffalo sideline. And now Bengals athletic training staff have gone out there too, and the ambulance is on the field like we said. So they're putting him on a stretcher from what we can tell. We really are blinded by the players standing around and the confluence of all the medical people surrounding the down player, Damar Hamlin, who is a second-year safety out of Pitt. He was a sixth-round pick a year ago and a starter, and is down and being attended to on the field. And our clock is at 5:58. We're just underway in the first quarter with a Cincinnati 7-3 lead. Bengals were on the move again. And that's where we stand. There are many Buffalo fans in attendance here tonight, in addition to what is clearly an overwhelming Bengal presence inside the stadium, the former Paul Brown Stadium. But everyone is either standing or quietly sitting in silence, and some actually in prayer now as we look around, and certainly the players on the field in the same way.
Just hard to know what to say, at this particular time as you sit down there and you watch.
Normally when a player goes down, in a normal situation which requires that player to be taken off the field, there is the blue tent if they feel it can be diagnosed quickly on the sideline. If the next stage of that would be they take them inside the locker room, and every NFL stadium has x-ray equipment and basically a small trauma center where they set up with doctors. There are probably, I would say, from the press box and on both sidelines, maybe in the area of 15 to 20 plus medical people, most of them doctors, trauma doctors, a lot of them. And they are quickly called upon in situations like this where both sides, Bengal doctors and Buffalo doctors that they have brought on this trip, are assisting in taking care of this down player. Now, they're not going to put him, it looks like, into... They've brought out 3 stretchers, 2 rolling stretchers, and one that was just a board. They've taken the board away. They've taken the second rolling stretcher away, and he is down on another apparatus, which we cannot see. And now they have not yet lifted him off the field on the medical board, whatever that would encompass on this. So normally inside, before they would go to the hospital, they would check with an x-ray. They would do another thorough search inside each NFL stadium, and then that examination would necessitate the decision, does a player go on to the hospital, and what further attention he may need.
You see every single player on both sidelines now in a semicircle around where Hamlin went down. I don't know if I've ever witnessed that before.
Lisa Salters of ESPN has just reported that they were performing CPR on the field. And that is a rarity. You don't see that in NFL games or for a down player. So there was clearly something at play here, more than just the injury, that we could see with the naked eye. And the concern with these two teams has been evident as now the entire Bengal bench has left the sideline below us and walked to midfield, and the entire Buffalo bench has been surrounding their fallen teammate the entire time. 5:58, we're in the first quarter. There's a down player, Damar Hamlin, who made a tackle and collapsed, and now they're lifting him in unison off the field in a stretcher. And we will get word to you as soon as we receive it up here. Let's take a break. Let's take one more final break here. With a 7-3 Cincinnati lead, we're in the first quarter, and you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Barbasol Shaving Cream is available in 5 fantastic flavors to customize your close shave. Whether it's original, soothing aloe, or Pacific Rush, there's one for every face. Find your favorite Barbasol today.
Barbasol.
You could save big when you bundle your home, auto, and other vehicles with Progressive. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
You could not have hit that field goal. Sorry, but it's true. 37 yards doesn't sound very far, but you'd be lucky to cover even a fraction of that. And that's in perfect conditions without 11 giant men trying to fold you like origami.
But you definitely could save big when you bundle your home, auto, and other vehicles with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situation.
Save now on appliances and more at the Truckload event at Lowe's. For a limited time, get up to an additional $600 off select major appliances and instant savings from top brands like Samsung, LG, and Whirlpool. And you can take home what you buy same day. Plus, get store-wide savings on even more items. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowe's.com to shop the Truckload event today. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Valid 12/29/14.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and a great shave starts with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Barbasol.
They have loaded the down player, DeMar Hamlin, into the ambulance, which is still on the field. Sean McDermott, the sixth-year head coach of the Buffalo Bills, has gathered his team on the far sideline, and they're all taking a knee with the head coach in the middle in prayer. And again, we know very little of what has happened. Just a few scant reports from the field. Lisa Solders had reported there was CPR being administered to DeMar Hamlin, and an IV was also another report that was being inserted, which is not uncommon. But now the Bills in prayer on a knee at the 45 as a team, their arms draped around one another in a circle with the coach in the middle. Eyes closed as we can see it through our binoculars, in a prayer led by their head coach, Sean McDermott. They all get up in unison. And now, Kurt, comes the part that I think seems so strange to someone who has not played a lot of sports, certainly at this level. You have. But you've probably been a part of games where there has been an incredible injury, maybe the magnitude of this. How do you get yourself back up again, focused and energized to play the rest of this game?
Well, you obviously saw tears with a number of the Bills players. You saw tremendous concern with a number of the Bills players. Now, pro football players have to have the ability to compartmentalize a lot of different things to get out here on the field and do what they do. But it is a completely different thing when you're talking about friends. You're talking about teammates, guys that that you've come to know, and you see them go through something like we just saw right there with Hamlin. It's tough to compartmentalize that because it's always in the back of your mind, especially until you get some type of report that he's doing okay.
The official here, the head official on the field, Sean Smith, has just talked to the head coach of the Bills, quarterback Josh Allen, and defensive back Jordan Poyer, who is an indispensable part of the Buffalo defense, their captain, a Pro Bowler. And they're discussing, you can only imagine what. And now that same NFL official is going over and talking with Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and explaining the point. Now, I don't know, are they saying that the Bills players, because of their teammate and the injury, are in a... I don't know. The league is going to get involved in this, I would assume, because there is still no player on the field, everyone on the sideline, and the officials are meeting at about the 50-yard line to discuss what the next step should be. But clearly, an incredibly serious medical situation has just occurred, to the point where the Buffalo players, with their fallen teammate taken away in an ambulance less than 5 minutes ago, are trying to digest what has happened. And it's got to be such a jolt to deal emotionally with it. I'm not sure if Sean Smith is going to address us. I'm assuming he will. But again, he has visited with both coaches, and now he's going to walk back to the middle. And the Buffalo players, quite honestly, are walking around listlessly on the far sideline. Now they're being brought together again on the far sideline. You don't think this is anywhere like, should we continue to play that kind of a thing, do you?
Well, I don't mean to exaggerate here, but here's another complete team huddle on the Buffalo sideline. And I don't think you're exaggerating. I think right now it's about the emotions. It's about, the team and understanding the situation that we just saw. As I said, I've never seen anything like that before. So I don't know if that's a case. Now you're seeing maybe disperse and some guys jumping out onto the football field and warming up again.
It's been about 20 minutes since he's gone down. The Bill defense is coming back out on the field. But both head coaches have visited with the referee in communication with the NFL office in New York I'm wondering if they just asked the Bill players,
Can you continue?
I think that, again, we are, 5 stories up and well away from the field. And there's been no communication at all. This is all just our view from where we sit.
And again, I don't have any idea to begin to speculate on what the rules are or how it would play out. But it could have simply been one of those things where Coach McDermott went to his players and said, hey, do you want to forfeit this game? Do you want to, go and be with your teammate and leave and let's take care of the first thing first, which is our teammate. And maybe they had to make that decision in the moment.
And this clearly is a much more serious NFL game injury than you normally see. And again, no word on what has happened to Damar Hamlin, who was taken off by ambulance, collapsing after a hit. Now, the head coach, Zach Taylor, is walking from the near sideline across the field to the Buffalo sideline and is going to talk with Sean McDermott. So the 2 head coaches are going to talk again. And the 2 coaches in front of the Buffalo bench on the far sideline are surrounded by 4 officials.
So it just
but this must be
no doubt. And is it something that both coaches can decide on doing something different, on postponing this game? Is it something that both sidelines can determine on their own? Does it have to be a league thing? But you're right. It looks as if they're having that conversation on what do we do next.
Players with tears in their eyes. We're looking at the Buffalo Bills sideline through binoculars and on our TV monitors up here. And there are several players clearly emotional. I think he's calling him. I think he's taking the team off the field. I think the Buffalo Bills are leaving the field, and the Bengals will leave to our right.
The game has been temporarily suspended to further notification.
So maybe one thing we could speculate is maybe they're going to let everybody go into the locker room until we find out what the state of Damar Hamlin is, and his teammates can feel comfortable coming back out here and playing. And why it's maybe temporarily suspended at this point.
Again, we have no word on Damar Hamlin, who was taken off in an ambulance after collapsing after a hit on a play. We are at 5:58 in the first quarter. The Bengals took the first drive, marched downfield, a 14-yard touchdown pass by Burrow on the game's first possession. Buffalo came back, and they marched downfield, but were held to a field goal. We're in the second possession for the Bengals, the third of the game. We had this hit as the Bengals were moving on a catch by wide receiver T. Higgins. The tackle was made just beyond midfield by starting safety Damar Hamlin. It was a helmet-to-helmet, but nothing immediately seemed out of the ordinary except just another strong, rugged NFL hit. Hamlin was knocked down, as was the ball carrier, the wide receiver. Hamlin jumped to his feet almost immediately and then collapsed and fell on his back. And from that point on, we've tried to tell you what has happened. It's been about 25 minutes, maybe a little less than 25 minutes since the injury to Damar Hamlin, and the game has been temporarily suspended with a 7-3 Cincinnati Bengals lead at the 5:58 mark of the first quarter. I'm assuming, Kurt, that no referee among this crew, and maybe not either head coach, has been through something this traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, I have to guess the same thing. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. As I said, both sidelines, every single player and coach from both sidelines were in a semicircle around Hamlin on the middle of the field. And then obviously the speculation with the coaches talking and going to the locker room. I just have to feel like those on the Bills sideline are sitting there going, we can't play until we know what's going on with our teammate. We need to know, we heard that there was a report that CPR was being done. Obviously, it lets you know how difficult the situation is that I have to believe the team is just saying, hey, can we at least suspend this for a while? Let us find out and get a report on our teammates and then address what we want to do from there.
So the game has been temporarily suspended as both teams have gone to their respective locker rooms, leaving the field, which is now completely empty. Fans have stayed in their seats. Most are in conversation, incredibly quiet on this 58-degree night with very little wind in Cincinnati in a game that, quite frankly, was about as intriguing a matchup as you could possibly hope for at this stage of the season. It tied a record for the number of wins two teams facing each other on a Monday night game had 23 combined wins between the Bengals and the Bills. And that's the other thing. This is not just another game like we had, for instance, last week you and I in Indianapolis with the Chargers and the Colts, who were out of it and eliminated before the game. I mean, I almost even hate to bring these kind of things, but
it's hard to even say that in the midst of what we're seeing. But I think, outside of that, I think everybody understands what you're saying. This is a huge game with huge implications.
So what do you do
long term?
Do you suspend it? Do you stay here one night? You play again tomorrow night?
Well, and that's what I don't know. How the NFL plays, but yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if it's to this nature that we've seen and they've left, that I think the best thing to do is, hey, let's take a 24-hour break here. And I know that's not easy and it's not good for anybody in the situation, but it's just, again, we got to keep the first thing, the main thing, and that is the health of Damar Hamlin and making sure that he is okay. And then from there, football takes the back seat and we figure out how to play this game and all the ramifications from there. But that is priority number one, and it seems to be that both head coaches met and said, we agree. This is priority number one. Let's go to our locker rooms and let's figure out what the next steps are from here.
Just from a reporting standpoint, this was the second starting defensive back for the Bills to go down in the opening minutes of the game. We began the game with Taron Johnson being helped off the field after a hit. He was face down, and they stopped play. And then he eventually walked off under his own power, walked to the sideline, and then to the locker room. So Damar Hamlin was the second starting defensive back in less than a quarter to fall after a hit on a play in this game here tonight in Cincinnati against the Bengals. We're going to take a short break. We will come back. The game has been temporarily suspended here in Cincinnati between the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals, with Cincinnati on top in an early touchdown pass, 7-3. Starting safety Damar Hamlin, if you're just joining us, on a tackle made on a running wide receiver, a catch and run, made a tackle, helmet to helmet, nothing out, just, it was rugged, but it was not one of those things where you have to turn your head and not look. He stood up and then immediately, after a second or two on his feet, collapsed and fell on his back. And immediately, athletic training staff from both the Bengals and the Bills raced to the middle of the field and began assisting. There was a report from ESPN and Lisa Salters that CPR was being administered. And they took him off on a stretcher in an ambulance, which is now left, and we will step aside. Breaking the action. You're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Introducing Barbasol 1919 Classic Shaving Cream, paying homage to the original invented over 100 years ago. This new non-aerosol formula features enhanced ingredients, an exceptional glide, and crisp fragrance for a winning shave experience.
Barbasol.
This is it, the putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. With visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying well ahead of your competition. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 32,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite is a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/touchdown. Head to netsuite.com/touchdown for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/touchdown.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Southern Recipe is celebrating Pork Rind Appreciation Day by giving you a chance to win $5,000 and a year's supply of high-protein, low-carb pork rinds in this year's Sacks for Snacks sweepstakes. For a chance to win, enter at southernrecipe.com. That's southernrecipe.com. No purchase necessary. See official rules at southernrecipe.com.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Visit Amazon today for your Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Barbasol shaving cream is available in 5 fantastic flavors to customize your close shave. Whether it's original, soothing aloe, or Pacific Rush, there's one for every face. Find your favorite Barbasol today.
Barbasol. We're back in Cincinnati. A player who was hit on a play, making a tackle. Damar Hamlin, the starting safety for the Buffalo Bills, after the tackle stood up and collapsed. Ambulance brought on the field. They worked on him on the field for over 15 minutes, then loaded him on a stretcher, put him into the ambulance, which has left the field, and we are told has just left the stadium within the last 2 minutes. They were reportedly administering CPR on the field to Hamlin, who is a second-year safety out of Pitt, a 6th-round draft choice. We have looked at his bio, and there's nothing on there that talks about past heart problems, like they probably wouldn't. But sometimes they do include that, and there are players who have got those kinds of issues going on. And anyway, that's where we stand right now. They have temporarily suspended the game. We're about a half hour now removed from the hit and the subsequent medical attention delivered on the field. We're in the middle of the first quarter with about 6 minutes to go, 5:58 to be exact, between the Bengals and the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Buffalo Bills tonight in a 7-3 Cincinnati lead early on. And the Bengals were moving on their second possession after the Bills offense had gone downfield and kicked a field goal. And I asked Kurt a little bit earlier during this story if he had gone through any kind of extended, prolonged medical procedure on the field, whether it was a knee or a concussion or anything close to this, which I've been broadcasting the NFL for 38 years. I've never seen it. There are cases of things like this happen. There was a player for the Detroit Lions who had CPR administered to him back like in the, I think his last name was Hughes. And we're going to look this up. It's just coming to my mind literally as I'm talking right now. And he had CPR administered on the field about 1970, 71, in that era. We're going to look it up here as we go along. But, Kurt, I'll throw it back to you as we kind of search into that. But we were, with Joe Hughes? Chuck Hughes, who had CPR administered. We're going back now, I mean, obviously 50 years, but 1971, we're told. Collapsed on the field in October. 28-year-old wide receiver, and passed on the field. That I think we also have Gene Steratore on the line. And Gene, thank you very much, Gene, for joining us. I appreciate it. So let's first of all talk about what this crew here in Cincinnati tonight, led by referee Sean Smith, did. I know you're watching on TV and listening and a part of our broadcast, but walk us through just the mechanics of what you saw and what you know this crew went through to get to the decision where we are right now with the game temporarily suspended.
Hi, Kevin, Kurt. It's good to be with you. Wish it were for better circumstances. And as you said, this is unprecedented for a lot of years. So this crew is going through something that most crews, almost all crews now existing here, haven't experienced an extended and very serious situation. Their communications with the NFL, with those working in Park Avenue right now, are direct as they are when they're doing the replay reviews and things of that nature. So It would be my assumption right now that they're having those communications. Naturally, they went through all of what they do on the field when there's an injury or a situation like this, and just try to keep people away, and then the communications would start. And as you've already said, after this extended period of time, the decision to have the teams go back to their locker room. Now, Sean Smith will be in direct communication with those in New York that I am sure are now communicating with the teams, and then making those decisions on whether they are going to decide to play now or delay. If they do decide to play again this evening, they'll give them a 10 or 15 minute warm-up period, to get started again. But I would think at this point, guys, they're still making these decisions because, as we all know, these are kind of uncharted waters, and now they're making some decisions as to what they want to do tonight, or possibly suspend the game until another date.
And Gene, with the possible suspension or deciding when to play, is that something that they would leave up to the coaches to decide? Is that something that the league would have to step in with all that that goes into this? Do you have any idea what that protocol would be?
Well, Kurt, not to ever compare something like this with an extended weather delay. I was in a tornado situation close to Soldier Field at one point where we had a very long delay. So I would think still, at least in the procedural aspect of this, naturally different subject and much more serious in some ways here, they're making those decisions in the office and having those communications. I would assume they're doing that with both teams right now, coaches, and then keeping the officials, updated as to what they're going to do with it. But I would say that would be my assumption that that's what they're doing, as we sit right now.
We are told, and I'm going to go to a reporter here for Fox 19 in Cincinnati, Joe Daneman, and he was told that Hamlin had a pulse, but he was not breathing on his own. He was transported to University of Cincinnati Hospital. He needed AED and CPR on the field. So that is the latest on that. So the NFL statement has been, and Gene just basically said this, the Bills will get as long as they need to regroup. And if they decide to return, there would, as Gene just said, a 10-minute or so warm-up for each team to get going. But, Gene, this is, I will tell you just from personal experience, and I think you know what I'm going to bring up here, is that in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago in the bubble in Indianapolis, an official collapsed early in an Elite 8 game, I believe. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. Bert Smith, a good friend of mine, Kevin. Yes, in the semifinal, in the Saturday games of the Final Four. Yes, I do remember that.
And he collapsed, and he had a heart issue, and they were administering many medical procedures on him as well. And this is the only other time that I've seen it. You don't see this very often. I was explaining to our audience that these NFL stadiums are almost like mini trauma centers. What the different facilities they possess, rooms that are cordoned off just for things of this nature with x-ray machines, and the number of doctors on the sideline and in the press box, Gene, as you know, it's a double-digit number. There are many trauma specialists at every NFL game for situations, quite frankly, just like this.
Yes, without a doubt, Kevin. And, again, another thing that the National Football League does at such a high level, and as you said, the personnel that are available, the speed and rapidness that we all have viewed here briefly, on TV, and then naturally listening to you and Kurt here, and how quickly they respond to these situations. When and as you stated as well, and I've been listening to you, although watching a little on the TV, I still listen to you guys on the radio when the games are on and I'm home here. It is just the speed of the game. That was not a hit that looked, really one of those hits where you see a crown of a helmet down or compact or impact of that nature. It was a pretty head-up tackle but the speed that these men are moving at, and it's an angle and a situation like that can create something rather quickly, and that is why there are ATC spotters up there looking to see if a player's gait has changed after a collision on the field. Officials are looking for that as well after hits every down. You were constantly on the lookout for the safety of these individuals and just the potential of something being amiss in real time. So it's very unfortunate, and but there's a lot of contact in angles and situations that could become very serious very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning it a little bit earlier, Kevin, as I've seen that numerous times, is that, you have people that what seems like a really violent hit, and, they bounce up and, you don't think anything of it. And then at times where it doesn't look like it was really all that much, and it becomes much more serious. And, just a scary scene when you start to hear about someone having to administer CPR, and what you just reported, that has a pulse but not breathing on his own. So, again, just prayers going out to his family. I know how difficult that can be when you're sitting in the stands watching, or you're at home watching or listening to a game like this, and you realize there's an injury of this magnitude. So just thoughts and prayers go out to Damar Hamlin and his entire family right now.
So we are told he has been transported to the University of Cincinnati Academic Health Center, not too far from this stadium. That is a designated hospital. Every NFL stadium has something set up with the hospital closest to them, or that can handle trauma like this. Gene, thank you for joining us. We may touch base with you later on tonight, but your insight is always appreciated.
Okay, guys, take care.
Gene Steratore joining us. And again, if you're just joining us, we have had a play where a defensive back for the Buffalo Bills made a tackle, stood up after the hit, collapsed on his back, was administered CPR. We are told reportedly administered CPR on the field in what was about a 25-minute evaluation, and then taken off via ambulance that drove out onto the field. They loaded him up. It is departed the stadium. It is at the aforementioned health center, which I just talked about, and we have gotten nothing since then on his condition. Both players and on the play, Higgins got up, Hamlin was down. The players for each team have left the field. The coaches visited, talked, met with the officiating crew, and the decision was made to suspend the game temporarily. And so both teams have gone to their respective locker rooms, where we have been waiting with the fans still in the stands, but a very eerie quiet certainly in the stadium, filled to capacity here in Cincinnati tonight. And we will try to get more information as we go on. So with that, we're in the first quarter, and the game has been suspended with a injured player in a very serious condition. Breaking the action, you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood 1.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms, to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
When you open up a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, you're opening up more than just doors. You're unlocking potential. The potential to do your own thing, be your own boss, and steer your own success. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van owners live, work, and play out their dreams, no matter how far off the beaten path it takes them. Because they know there's nothing like taking your own route and reawakening that spirit of adventure that lies within all of us. With 16 body types, your choice of a gas or diesel engine, thousands of ways to customize, and now available in all-wheel drive, a Sprinter van is capable and versatile enough to help drive your ambitions, wherever you want to take them. So go ahead. Now's the time. Unlock your potential inside a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter.
Rich Eisen here in the Westwood One studios of Monday Night Football. All of us sitting on the edge of our seats, pins and needles, hearts and throats, waiting for any piece of news regarding Damar Hamlin, the 24-year-old safety of the Buffalo Bills, who was selected in the 6th round of last year's NFL draft. If you are somehow just joining or unaware, it was in the middle of the first quarter when Damar Hamlin was taking down T. Higgins, crossing the field, attempting to gain more yards after a catch in the 7-3 game in Cincinnati. And it was a collision, and Hamlin took Higgins down to the ground, then stood up, and then fell backwards. And ever since then, the entire country has been horrified, hoping that Hamlin, who, according to the ESPN broadcast, and then, of course, all the reports, administered CPR on the field. And an ambulance took him off the field to the local hospital after apparently, according to some reports, getting his mom out of the stands, his mother at the game, so she could ride with him in the ambulance to the local hospital. And other reports, local report out of Cincinnati, that he has a pulse, but is not breathing on his own at present. There was a moment after the ambulance left the field where both teams repaired to their sidelines and appeared to be getting ready to come back out on the field for a 5-minute warm-up. But both Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor, the coaches of the Bills and the Bengals respectively, met not once but twice with each other and the officials around them on the field. And McDermott decided to take his team back to the locker room. And at this point, it does appear that the league is, and I hope this is the case as well, leaving it up to the Bills and the players if they want to play tonight's game. And that's where things are. We're all hoping that Damar Hamlin is okay, will start, if this is in fact the case, breathing on his own. And I don't know about you folks out there, but I am literally refreshing my Twitter feed every 2 seconds to see any piece of news in regards to Hamlin from anybody that could be considered a reliable source. There's a lot of people playing doctor on Twitter as to what may have happened for Hamlin to have made the hit, then gotten up, stood up before falling down backwards. And there really are no words to describe what's happening, because I've never seen this before. And Kurt Warner, my Hall of Fame friend who's at the game in the Westwood One radio booth, calling the action along with Kevin Harlan, I cannot imagine what must be going through the players' minds. What particularly horrified me when I realized, Kurt, that something was up, seeing the shots of Josh Allen holding his hands over his face and then people crying and tearing up, that something is clearly out of the ordinary and is something that I've never seen before. I can only imagine. What do you think could be going through the minds of all the players as they were watching that earlier?
Well,
Kurt,
I have to think, Rich, and I mean, I can hear it in your voice. I can physically feel it up here being at the stadium and having watched what had gone on and not even knowing, not even being down there on the field as the players were, like you said, Josh Allen holding his face, a number of players in tears, hugging one another down there. That the only thing that can be going through their mind right now is our brother okay? I mean, is he all right? Is he breathing? Is he from that standpoint, that you're thinking of it from the big picture standpoint, that there is nothing from a football standpoint that is in those players' minds right now. As you mentioned, I'd never seen anything like it, where both benches completely, every player, every coach, went and surrounded Hamlin on the field in a semicircle, letting you know that this was not a normal injury, not something that I've never seen anything like it before. None of I would assume most of these players have never been in a situation like that before. So again, so many things going through their mind. Can't imagine, mother in the stands. I remember a number of times Brenda saying that when I would get injured, just sitting there speculating on what could be going wrong and what the injury could be. I'm sure everybody in that locker room now, knowing that Hamlin is at the hospital, we're just wondering, give us a report. Let us know, give us any bit of good news that you have on our teammate.
Well, I can't imagine the fact that there is no update, even by this point, that there could be, other than the fact that he's somehow through hope and the collective prayers of obviously the two of us and the rest of the crew there, along with Kevin, that we're all the collective hope and prayers of everybody that somehow, some way it comes back. The news is that he's awake and fine. I don't know how you play a football game tonight. I simply do not know how that's possible, and I know that there's a lot of sensitivities in this regard, but I'm sickened to my stomach about this sort of thing, and I can only imagine those on the field who witnessed it and are his brothers in arms. Kurt.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Is that I don't know how we get back to playing a football game this evening, and I don't know what that means and what that looks like moving forward. I think we all understand, simply from a football perspective, how big this game is and where we're at in the season and everything that needs to play out over the next 7 days. But as we've been talking here, you have to keep the main thing, and that is to make sure, as you put it, their brother in arms is okay, and that they can all breathe that that sigh of relief to know that, even though it's obviously serious in whatever regard, that that Damar Hamlin is okay and is going to be okay before they can even think about stepping back on that football field.
It's been about coming up on an hour since the play in question left Damar Hamlin on the ground. 52 minutes is the exact time right now. What's it like in the stadium? I mean, people must be just like strolling around like zombies, looking around as to what's going on.
Well, and in every stadium, when there's an injury, that the fans are just waiting for the player to stand up, to walk off the field, to give a thumbs up in some of those situations. And so it was so hard to see anything down there on the field with all the players and coaches and medical staff huddled around Hamlin. There was a number of times when it went from silence to clapping as, everybody thought, okay, he's up, he's moving, something is happening. But obviously we know that that's not the case. So right now, it is silent as can be, as everybody, sits in anticipation of getting that news that you're talking about, getting some semblance of positive news on Damar Hamlin. But right now, there is little movement and there is little sound in this stadium as everyone is holding their collective breath and, as you said, praying and thinking on this situation and hoping for a great resolution.
And again, I keep refreshing my timeline here, which is, the 21st century way of getting information up to the second. Certainly when you're on the air broadcasting. Patrick Peterson of the Vikings tweeted out moments ago, cancel the game. Former Seahawk Doug Baldwin Jr. canceled the game. So many people who we, call colleagues in the business, former players, are all saying that there's no way to go back out there and put themselves back together. 8 minutes ago, there's some video of the ambulance arriving to the Cincinnati hospital carrying Damar Hamlin, who now about 55 minutes ago collapsed after making a tackle, taking one right in the chest, which is another aspect that so many, physicians and doctors who are on Twitter are pointing out is very important, that this could be, not a head injury. This is what could have caused some form of cardiac arrest. Certainly when folks are seeing what was administered to Damar Hamlin, the 24-year-old safety from Pennsylvania, played his college football at Pittsburgh, and how I'm just seeing everybody completely beside themselves, which is the way that I think every single football fan is feeling right now. It's just absolutely horrible.
Rich,
prayers from Lamar Jackson and so on and so forth. Sorry, go ahead.
You've covered the NFL as long as I have, and usually when there is an event on the field like this, it deals with neck and spine, yes, and those kinds of things. I can't recall CPR being administered on the field. If indeed this report is true, and there have been many different sources corroborating with that report, but that is a rarity and a first. I just can't recall any time that has occurred.
No, because there's no precedence for this. And I know you were talking about some moments in college basketball and,
with a heart, yes, from one of the referees.
With a heart, and obviously Hank Gathers, yes, his name leaps to mind. And,
yes, exactly.
But there's just no precedence for this. It is truly the nightmare moment. Anybody who loves the NFL, covers the NFL, watches the NFL, whose kids play football, it's the nightmare moment that everybody is hand-wringing about, staring at the ceiling about, if they ever do think of their own mortality on a football field. And again, we are hoping he is okay. But I just remember years ago when I was interviewing Howie Long at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it was a year in which Chris and Kyle were slated to play each other. And his sons, Chris Long and Kyle Long, and Chris, a defensive lineman, and Kyle, an offensive lineman. And I asked Howie about how excited he must be to watch his two kids play in a game against each other. And his answer was the fact that he and Diane, his wife, weren't looking forward to it, because as he knows from his time as a Hall of Famer in the trenches, that he called every single snap of the football a car crash, is what he called it, a potential collision. And this is what we're always concerned about. And what we kind of also always put to the side whenever we talk about a game and are very excited about it and watch hits and sometimes get upset about flags that come in for player protection and whether it's warranted or not. And I understand, what must be going through the minds of everybody right now. But there really is no precedence for what we're seeing right now. I'm reading a Twitter feed of, again, I think the same Fox 19 local reporter in Cincinnati you referenced earlier in our broadcast, Kevin, Joe Danneman, saying as of 5 minutes ago, Joe Burrow made his way into the Bills locker room. So, Clearly, we don't know what's going on. Burrow, as you know, is an unflappable sort, to say the least. Seeing him jarred was another indication that this is unprecedented and concerning. And we'll see what happens from Burrow's visit. Could be just a check on what's going on with the Bills or talk about canceling this game tonight.
Rich, let me just quickly update what has gone on here in the last, I'd say, 2 minutes. Dawn Aponte, who is head of NFL operations, is on the phone in the area outside the locker rooms. They are passing a cell phone from her to each of the two coaches, Sean McDermott of the Bills, Zach Taylor of the Bengals, and also to the head referee tonight, Sean Smith. The four of them are passing around the cell phone and trying to keep the communication with the league office in New York open. While that conversation was going on moments ago, the Buffalo sideline has begun to gather their equipment and take it to the locker room. They have brought their golf carts out onto the field, and on the flatbed portion of those carts, begun to put different things that each sideline has: extra padding, shoes, helmets, all the gear. So I'm assuming this is an indication that we are trending toward suspending the game as this equipment is coming off as we're speaking. The discussion, and again, the two head coaches have been almost hip to hip underneath the stands outside the locker rooms, talking with the league and trying to figure out the best as they continue to get information from the hospital about the fallen player, Damar Hamlin. So that has happened here in the last 3 minutes or so. But equipment from the sideline for the Buffalo Bills is being rolled off either manually or on carts and taken to the locker room, and they're beginning to disassemble their sideline situation. That has not happened on the near sideline with the Bengals. Nobody has gone out on the field. There's been no announcement in the stadium. In fact, there's been very little noise except the murmur, the low murmur of the crowd, most standing, many sitting, arms around each other. And now, actually, as we're beginning to speak and as I look around canvassing the stadium, many are heading to the aisles and heading to the exits. So I'm assuming here in the next 5 minutes we may get more clarity, or at least an update on where we stand with this game. And most importantly, we're all waiting, as you've alluded to, and Kurt, about Damar Hamlin's situation, where he stands, what is being done, and his current state.
Well, I'm reading from Fox 19 host and anchor. Her name is Tricia Mackey. She is saying, I'm told that Damar Hamlin has been intubated and is currently listed in critical condition. And again, you know, I'm reading off of Twitter, so let's take this into account. But it is also somebody who is a news anchor from Cincinnati, and this is what she is reporting. Both coaches, after talking on that shared cell phone call, exchanged hugs, McDermott and Taylor. This does appear like we are about to have a postponed football game. And truly, if this young man is intubated and in critical condition, this does not appear like his condition will change anytime soon, where people can, after this hour-long nightmare that's unfolded in Cincinnati, put themselves back together for a game. Certainly if equipment is being removed from the field, it just makes complete and total sense. And this game appears to be headed towards a postponement, and then we can figure out all the other stuff down the line. I mean, that's truly the only concept that makes sense right now in Cincinnati.
Bit by bit, the equipment crew and the related staff of the Bills are disassembling their sideline, not in totality, but they have taken 3 large crates to their locker room, and we have not gotten any kind of look inside the portion which is right outside the locker room for the Bills. but there is a high-ranking NFL representative here, Don Aponte, and both coaches are in conversation with the league office. The player, Damar Hamlin, is at a local hospital designated by the Bengals and verified by the NFL. The University of Cincinnati Academic Health Center is where we are told he has been taken. And again, that's all we know. It is beginning to thin out in the stadium. I will tell you that as we're going to, Rich, send it back to you in Los Angeles. But while we have the chance here, we need to give our stations legally a 10-second station identification. And so we'll give the stations that right now. This is Westwood 1, your home for the National Football League.
Tune to SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 all year long to hear expert opinions and analysis from former players, coaches, and executives.
So we're back in Cincinnati. It is the top of the hour, and we are all in stunned silence with heavy hearts as a player for the Buffalo Bills, second year, Damar Hamlin, making a tackle, standing up after the tackle, and then collapsing, falling on his back. He was being tended to by the athletic training staffs of both the Bills and the Bengals, which numbered at least 10 to 12 people surrounding him. Stretcher was brought out, eventually an ambulance. We are being told that CPR was administered. The player was then put into the ambulance. The ambulance spent a short time underneath the stands outside the locker room. His mother was in attendance. She was taken from the stands down to the ambulance. The ambulance is now at the University of Cincinnati Academic Health Center, close to the stadium here in downtown Cincinnati, and we are waiting for a report from the hospital. The league, as a high-ranking official, as it usually does in all the nationally televised standalone games, and Don Aponte is here, Director of Operations for the National Football League, and at her side was our referee tonight, Sean Smith, and the two head coaches. And they have been in conversation most of this time as both teams have left the field, gone to their locker rooms, and the game has been temporarily suspended, but that now is reaching a pretty lengthy time. And while that is all going on, some equipment from the Buffalo Bills sideline has been wheeled off, and the thought is that they may postpone the game and schedule it for another time. So with that in mind, we are midway through the first quarter, and there's a break here, and we're going to give our local stations all over the country a chance for a message right now. So stations, we're going to hand it to you and telling you this is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
You've been listening to the National Football League on SiriusXM Radio. For a full list of games and channels, go to SiriusXM.com/NFL schedule. We now return you to the program regularly scheduled at this time.
Radio legend Conan O'Brien here. I've often been told that I have a face for radio. Well, guess what? SiriusXM thought so too. Tune in to Team Coco Radio, Channel 106. Everything that you kind of liked about what I did on television, on radio. Conan O'Brien on Channel 106. Check it out. Team Coco Radio 106.
2023 is your year, so tap into the sound of a fresh start and tackle all your resolutions with motivating music from Lizzo, Dolly Parton, Queen, and more. The ultimate New Year fresh start music mix. Jump in now, only on the SXM app, included in all trials and popular plans.
Sometimes music is the motivation. So fuel your 2023 shape up with specially designed app-exclusive workout channels from SiriusXM's Hip Hop Nation,
a lot of money on clothes,
BPM, Pop 2K, and more. With more than 10 to choose from, the music that moves you is just a tap away. For a limited time on Channel 104 starting Wednesday. Or listen to them anytime and anywhere on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
SiriusXM FC celebrates the life and legacy of a soccer icon, the legendary Pele.
God in football boots, nothing less. And he was astonishing in his manner, in his persona. On the football field, he took on a fourth dimension, the likes of which we've never ever seen.
Celebrate the life and legacy of Pele on SiriusXM FC 157.
TJ Watt sacks him.
Taking you inside the locker room on NFL Rewind.
What is it about when you're in the lineup that inspires the Steelers, especially your side of the ball?
I just try to bring as much energy and as much juice and splash as I possibly can to this defense and to this team, because I am living the absolute dream, man. We're definitely happy to still be playing a meaningful game next week, but all of that means nothing if we don't win.
NFL Rewind, following Sunday Night Football until 2 a.m. Eastern. NFL Radio, Channel 88.
Where Damar Hamlin is right now, the state that he is in right now, and you just have to believe that there's no way players, specifically in the Bills locker room, can focus on anything else other than their friend and their brother and the situation that he and his family are going through right now. So the right decision being made, and I don't want to sit here and speculate on on how they play this and when they play this and what happens next. For me right now, and as I can feel it, physically, that I feel ill right now, just wanting to get any sign of good news or hope that Damar Hamlin is doing all right.
Gents, I have a statement right here on the from the National Football League. Courtesy, and here it is. Tonight's Buffalo Bills-Cincinnati Bengals game has been postponed after Buffalo Bills' Damar Hamlin collapsed. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced Hamlin received immediate medical attention on the field by team and independent medical staff and local paramedics. He was then transported to a local hospital where he is in critical condition. Our thoughts are with Damar and the Buffalo Bills. We will provide more information as it becomes available. The NFL has been in constant communication with the Players Association, which is in agreement with postponing the game. My colleague at the worldwide leader in sports and former NFL Network information man, now with I've known Adam for years, as Schefter saying the NFL Players Association put out a statement saying the NFLPA and everyone in our community is praying for Damar Hamlin. We've been in touch with the Bills and the Bengals players, and with the NFL, the only thing that matters at this moment is Damar's health and well-being, and that obviously goes without saying. So the game has been postponed, and anybody that might be sitting out there wondering, what does it mean for the game? What does it mean for the 1 seed? What does it mean for your fantasy team? What does it mean for anything else? Please just channel those thoughts towards this young man, this 24-year-old young man that suffered the unthinkable, it appears, on this field, and that hopefully we are going to get news from the University of Cincinnati Hospital in short order, giving us good news that he is breathing on his own, that he is awake, that the first class and first aid medical attention that he received on the field did its work, did its job, kept him alive, and got him to the hospital in time for him to recover. And that's all we should be focusing on right now, and the rest we'll figure out on another day.
Rich, you're great to update us on that. And the stadium here, just to close this portion of the broadcast, is emptying very, very quickly, with the equipment staffs on each sideline now emptying those sidelines. We have not seen, once the players and coaches left, no one came back out onto the field. But most of the crowd, over the next 30 minutes, they did not move. They stayed in their seats, and you could visibly see some in prayer, some consoling others, but quiet. It was in a stadium that had every seat filled on this warm night here, in early January. There was a low murmur, a very low murmur, but that was it. In very quiet voices, in prayer or in talking, consoling, and just stunned about what has happened here. And you're good to update us on that. That is the official word from the NFL and the Players Association. They do work in concert, and clearly the only concern right now is the condition of this young player.
No doubt. I mean, it's just we're at the point now where it's hard to know what to say next. We all are sitting in anticipation to hope we hear something soon and something, that is in the positive direction for Damar Hamlin. But at this point, it's just prayers up. As much as we love this game, this is the one thing that you always fear in a violent game, that something like this happens, and you hope that you never have to see and witness something like this.
I just want to add one thing, Rich, for people that are joining us late, have not seen it or driving and have not had a chance to see any of the things with their own eyes on television or any kind of reporting. There was a moment when the ambulance left the field, and all that was left were the two teams kind of staggering back to their respective sidelines. And Sean McDermott, the coach of the Bills, clearly in an animated way, bringing his hands and arms together, trying to gather his team around him. They did, and in unison fell to a knee and were in their own thoughts, in their own prayers, on a knee, heads bowed, and praying for their fallen teammate. Shortly after that, the two coaches met, the official got together, and the decision was made at that time, once the ambulance had left, prayers and kind of a unifying effect was there, went to the respective locker rooms, and that takes us to right now. So, Rich, thank you for joining us. And are we sending it to Rich? We're not sending it to Rich. Rich, thank you for filling in a lot of the missing parts of this from where you are in Los Angeles. And it's good to have a trusted voice like yours on this broadcast, who has seen a lot and covered a lot in this league.
Well, look, I'm just sending my prayers to you guys to pass along to anybody that's there, and for anybody out there who might want to send Damar a well wish. Again, it's a 21st century way of doing it. His Twitter handle is @HamlinIsland, and it is him. And if you want to send a well wish, perhaps when he is through this, which we are praying for, he will see it. And it'll be something that can help him get back on his feet and get back to what he wants to do with life. And that is just, the way things are looking right now. It was just an absolutely harrowing thing to witness on television and listening to, obviously, with you guys, and watching that unfold had to have been something for these players that they've never gone through before, and I think their decision to not play tonight and the league's decision to back that play is exactly what we need to have seen. And then we go through sending our prayers to Damar Hamlin and his family, and that's how I send things back to you guys.
Well said, Rich. Thank you very much. We will take a break here in Cincinnati as you're listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just one dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms. to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Remember when one of your best players got injured, but not like on a play or anything? He got injured celebrating a play, and it's not like it was a game-winning play or in the playoffs. And he was out the rest of the season because he was injured while celebrating? Yeah.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by.
Looking for a perfect post-holiday pick-me-up? Well, treat yourself to a $5 pot pie from KFC. For a limited time, pot pies at Kentucky Fried Chicken are now just $5. Each KFC pot pie is made with a delicious mix of tender chicken, savory sauce, perfectly cooked veggies, and topped with a golden flaky crust. It really is the ultimate $5 comfort meal. Only at KFC. That's finger-licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
This is it, the putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. With visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying well ahead of your competition. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 32,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite is a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/touchdown. Head to netsuite.com/touchdown for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/touchdown.
We're back in Cincinnati. We want to alert our stations all over the country that we are going to send it back to you here in just a moment, and we're going to close our broadcast. The game between the Bengals and the Bills has been suspended indefinitely. We have no idea when it will be resumed, how they'll proceed. That is all still happening as we close here tonight. So if you're just joining us, in the middle of the first quarter, the Bengals were throwing a pass to a wide receiver who was tackled by a defensive back, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. The collision was helmet to helmet. The defensive back, the man who made the tackle, got up and then after about a second or so wobbled and fell backwards, landing on his back. Immediately, athletic training staff from both teams raced out onto the field and they tended to him. The injury occurred about 8:55 Eastern time in this stadium. And as they were administering to him on the field, an ambulance was backed out onto the field. At midfield is where they joined the proceeding. And EMTs got out, and they began to work on the fallen Bill player. Reportedly, CPR was administered. The ambulance then left the field, went underneath the stands near the locker room. Reportedly, the player's mother, who was in attendance, was gathered in by Bills personnel, taken down to the ambulance, rode in the ambulance with her son to a nearby hospital. The ambulance left the stadium at approximately 9:25 Eastern time, and about 35 minutes later, after conferring with the league office, the director of operations, and both head coaches, the game was officially postponed. And that's where we stand right now.
And I would just like to say, anybody that's listening to us, just join us in prayer. Prayer for Damar Hamlin, for his family, for his teammates. for those that are close to him, for the medical professionals that are administering care to him right now. Just join us in that, with the little that we can do to have a little bit of hope out there, and as we wait for hopefully some good news.
The stadium is cleared out. Both benches have been cleared of all the gear by the various staff members for both the Bills and the Bengals. The only light, aside from the lights around the rim of the stadium that are on right now, is the time of the game. The score, the scoreboard, everything is off and dark except the time of the game, which is when the injury happened at 5:58 of the first quarter. So for Kurt Warner and Rich Eisen, I'm Kevin Harlan. Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Monday Night Football on Westwood One.